At the beginning of the film, we observe an armed man. Jesse is standing over someone, pointing a gun at him, and then a loud noise is heard. Seconds later, the man appears in the frame with red spots on his face. Jesse reasons that in posh places like this, you're either a local like himself or from a wealthy family who decided to relax. The man realizes that by servicing tourists arriving on private jets, their little town still exists. Jesse realizes that none of the locals would have done what he has done, and what else will do. Elena arrives in the snowy town. Jesse drives the girl to one of the cozy houses located on the hills, and also gives her his card. Going out of the car, Elena immediately falls into the arms of her lover and businessman. Spencer gives Jesse the money and says she will definitely turn to him if something happens. The businessman shows Elena the house and cooks dinner for her. Spencer says it was a little strange for him to live alone for a fortnight in such a quiet place. The next day, the businessman decides to go skiing. While Spencer enjoys sliding down the snowy slopes, his girlfriend works with an instructor and learns the art of skiing. After the race, the couple decides to take a hot tub. However, a problem soon arises, as the water turns out to be not so hot. Spencer gets angry and asks his girlfriend to call a plumber. Jesse soon arrives at the house, ready to fix the problem. Spencer talks to the plumber rather dismissively, but Elena becomes more mellow and even agrees to help him fix the hot tub. Jesse plays the guitar and demonstrates his knowledge of artwork. In particular, he points out a painting that a businessman has recently purchased. After he leaves, however, Spencer is rather dismissive and laughingly of the redneck's intelligence. Normal everyday life begins. Elena, together with the businessman, does yoga, skis, and spends time in bed. On one of these days, the girl decides to go out for a walk. Elena wanders through the snowy forest when she notices several men who give her signs of attention. The girl returns home in a hurry, but doesn't say anything to Spencer. The businessman informs that he has to go to Los Angeles urgently because of a broken deal. Spencer calls the girl with him, but she refuses. Soon, Elena says goodbye to the businessman and stays in a huge house alone. The girl doesn't get upset and begins to cook to music, enjoying a quiet life. However, soon her occupation is interrupted by a knock on the door. On the threshold turns out to be Jesse, who came to fix the doors on the loggia. Elena lets him in and decides to treat the plumber to her bread. Jesse is impressed with the taste of the baked goods and says that this is the kind of baked goods he would buy. In response, Elena tells him that earlier she did bake to order, but it turned out to be unprofitable. Therefore, the girl now works as Spencer's kept woman. Elena flirts with the plumber and talks about her life principles. Deep down, the girl despises Spencer and his kind, but realizes that they are necessary for her survival. Jesse jokes that in such a relationship, it is important to carry more than you bring. After drinking a little, the plumber approaches Elena and strokes her face. The girl doesn't pull away even when Jesse kisses her passionately. The couple remains alone, after which Elena immediately runs away. In parting, the girl tells Jesse that once is enough for her. However, at night, the plumber sends a message that it is not enough for him. Elena doesn't respond, and soon her businessman arrives home. Spencer sees the bottle on the balcony and gets a little angry at the girl for drinking with a servant. The next day, Elena goes out for a run and hears about a place full of coyotes. After running, the girl decides to seclude herself in the sauna, but she is soon disturbed by Spencer. The businessman informs her that guests are coming to him in the evening, and they must meet them well. After leaving Elena, Spencer decides to call the plumber and invite him over to fix the boiler. The businessman covertly humiliates Jesse in front of the guests, and then starts extolling his talents. Spencer thinks the plumber should play them something on the guitar. Jesse chooses a rather interesting song. While playing it, he keeps looking at Elena. Spencer asks the plumber to play an encore, but the man refuses, saying he knows when to leave. Night falls. The businessman is drinking in the kitchen and discusses the plumber with Elena. Spencer asks the girl to finish her things quickly so they can have some privacy in the bedroom. The businessman goes to the bed and almost instantly falls asleep from the large amount of alcohol. Elena, on the other hand, is about to go to the bedroom when suddenly she hears a noise. In one of the rooms, the girl sees Jesse. The plumber repeats that once was not enough for him, after which he kisses her passionately. Meanwhile, Spencer starts to wake up and realizes his girlfriend isn't around. Elena chases the plumber away and says she doesn't want him showing up so suddenly anymore. The girl lies to Spencer that she was closing the door that was opened, and the man believes it. The next day, Jesse thinks a lot about what happened. In the evening, the plumber comes to Elena and tries to talk to her. However, at this moment a businessman appears, who was curious why Jesse came to them. The plumber informs him that he has a cartridge to fix the shower. The businessman decides to go along with Jesse and humiliate him. Spencer improves the plumber's song with complex chords and then starts telling his success story. The businessman also starts talking about Elena and how she always had men clinging to her, but unlike others, she always knew when someone was interested in her. Things get heated, but at that moment the lights go out in the house. The businessman asks Jesse to see what could have caused it. Elena calls Spencer to the table, and the man unexpectedly invites the plumber to join them as well. During dinner, there is suddenly a noise downstairs. Jesse realizes that the businessman hasn't closed the door and says they need to go downstairs quietly and check what's downstairs. Elena hears a scream and decides to hide. Two local men soon appear in the room, ready to steal an expensive painting to enrich themselves. One of them notices Elena and attacks her. Spencer sees what is happening from outside, but doesn't rush to intervene. One of the robbers decides to abuse Elena, but a plumber comes to her rescue. Jesse calms the girl down and tells her it's over. Soon the police arrive at the house. The cops advise the couple to get a large dog or buy a gun to protect themselves and their property. The businessman refuses to go to the hotel and is going to stay in his house despite what has happened. Spencer gets into an argument with his girlfriend. The businessman is convinced that it was Jesse who organized the attack and robbery and then changed his mind. Elena's calmness annoys Spencer. The businessman goes down to the ground floor and drinks, trying to forget about what happened. The next day, Spencer reveals that the perpetrators have been found. It also turns out that Jesse has been to prison before for armed assault. Spencer and his girlfriend go skiing. When they return, they see Jesse outside their house, fixing the porch like nothing happened. Spencer aggressively chases the plumber away, and the man lets slip a hint to Elena that she can call him whenever she wants. The girl walks through the woods and remembers how she came across several men during one walk. It seems to Elena that Jesse was among them then. In the evening, the girl does yoga while Spencer rocks out to loud music. The couple is unaware that Jesse reappears on their doorstep looking at their skis. Elena accidentally sees a plumber at the window and is startled by him. Spencer suddenly wonders why Jesse is so insistent on paying attention to his girlfriend. Before going to bed, the businessman talks to Elena and says that he will take cruel revenge on those who dared to encroach on his home. The next day, Spencer decides to go skiing. Due to their malfunction, the businessman falls and breaks his leg. Jesse, who appears, is amused by the situation and says that Spencer deserved it. The businessman is used to having houses, flats, and girls just handed to him without much effort. Now, however, his life is in the hands of Jesse, a simple laborer from the village. Laughing, the plumber leaves Spencer. The businessman is found, though, and he demands that the police arrest Jesse. The cop says that so far they have no proof that the plumber broke his skis or that he was in the woods. Spencer hopes retribution is imminent and asks Elena to bring the gun he ordered after the attempted robbery. Jesse, meanwhile, arrives at his house. Once inside, he keeps looking around, as if realizing he is being observed. This turns out to be true. One of the burglars who attempted to attack Elena's honor slowly emerges from behind the fence and waddles towards the house. Drawing his gun, the burglar opens the door and enters Jesse's house. On the table, he notices paintings being repainted by the plumber. The robber is distracted and then looks out the window. An armed Jesse suddenly peeks out from behind the boards and neutralizes the man who broke into his house. Upon entering the house, the plumber communicates with the burglar. Jesse says that the man should have taken the painting without touching Elena. When the robber says that's the kind of thing anyone wants to jump on, Jesse takes his life. The plumber goes to the mirror and washes the red stains off his face that were left over from his conversation with the robber. Elena, meanwhile, spends time with a businessman who realizes he's about to have visitors, as he's almost helpless. Spencer thanks the girl for staying and not abandoning him. Elena throws the businessman a quick glance and then leaves, saying he needs to rest. The police, meanwhile, discover the burglar at Jesse's house. A police officer tries to contact a patrolman who is observing Spencer's house. However, the man is stunned by Jesse, who is ready for one last deal. Slowly, the plumber walks towards the house, looking at the windows. Jesse goes inside and sees the sleeping businessman. The plumber takes Spencer's gun and just as quietly leaves his room. Jesse goes into the kitchen, where the girl is standing. Elena calmly talks to the plumber, even when he admits that he organized the robbery. Suddenly, the girl pours hot tea on Jesse and runs out of the house. Elena tends to the forest, where she hid the weapon. Jesse finds the girl and kisses her. It seems to him that they will run away with the painting together and enjoy their love. However, Elena says that she won't go back to that kind of life. The girl destroys Jesse, and the man praises her for this decision. Elena also leaves the businessman while he sleeps and steals his insanely expensive painting. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.